Utah, Salt Lake City. Utah, you know I feel for you. You know I'm here for you. You know this has always been a pro-Utah show for decades. Even when you were hammered as Weak Take Lake, I had your back. Hell, we had a tour stop back in the day. You know how strongly I feel about you, how much you all mean to the program. We have roots. We go way back. Karl Malone, for instance, was a legend on this show back in the day. He was a fixture. Rick Majerus was a legend in the jungle back in the day. You know that. Don't forget that. Especially when you hear what you're about to hear. Because what you're about to hear is going to sting. It's going to sting. Just know that I always have your back, and I always will have your back. But it has been a tough couple of days for the Jazz. Wednesday night, for instance, Joel Embiid ripped their hearts out in regulation. Then Tobias Harris carved them in OT. After that game, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert let everybody know what they thought about the officiating. In case you forgot, this is what Donovan had to say. That is truly one of the greatest crackbacks on the officials I've ever heard. It's getting effing ridiculous that this is happening. And believe me, this guy was not the only one saying that. His star teammate, Rudy Gobert, pretty much said the exact same thing. I'll tell you what. You know what? I hear them. I do. It's got to suck when you lose a game on the road that you feel like you could have won. You feel like you did win, but it doesn't go in the books as a dub because the refs did not do their jobs, especially when you feel like you did yours. I get it, but, and there is a but. There is a but here. Like I said yesterday, I don't think this is about the refs not liking the Utah Jazz. I don't think this is about the refs having it out for the Utah Jazz. It's more a function of the refs across the league having a really crappy week, which they did. No, the refs are not going out of their way to target the team with the best record in basketball. This is not a small market versus a big market thing. I really doubt that Adam Silver is on the bat phone blowing up the refs and telling them, make sure you call more fouls on the Jazz so we can have Philadelphia beat Utah in the middle of the week in early March. What I'm saying is this. There is no Utah Jazz slander coming from the refs, period. There just isn't. The refs are not out to get you. They just sucked last week. Now, that said, there sure as hell was Utah Jazz slander last night. Not from the refs, but at the NBA All-Star Game draft. Now, let me be honest. The draft was a lot more entertaining than I expected. Although that was because LeBron was carrying most of the entertainment load because KD didn't exactly bring any entertainment to the proceedings last night. Yeah, I mean, there's not much point in breaking down rosters and all-star games and getting all worked up about that. I'm not going to do that. No, I don't need to do that because I have Giannis to do that for me. Because Giannis was the first pick in the draft, and Giannis was pretty fired up to hear that he went first and to hear the rest of the guys that he would be running with on Team LeBron. Giannis is like eating as he's conducting that interview. This guy's 100% personality. Giannis is all it. Giannis is like the most engaging dude. And he's right. What a starting five. But, although Durant didn't give us that kind of personality, his crew is not exactly a bunch of scrubs. Durant's got Kyrie, Joel, Kawhi, Bradley Beal, and Jason Tatum. However, the real action came at the end of the draft because the one thing you know about a draft like this is nobody wants to be picked last. I mean, sure, it's an honor just to be a part of the game, but anybody who's good enough to be a part of the proceedings is already an alpha. And if you're good enough to get invited to the party, you have spent most of your life being the first one picked in everything. So nobody Nobody wants to go last. That is the ultimate insult, especially in a room full of alphas. So, it came down to this. 3 names left on the board. LeBron had to make a choice. LeBron was looking at Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, or Domantas Sabonis. LeBron had to make a call, and this is the move that he made. Naturally, you're thinking he's going with Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Tower, the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, the dude from SWAT Lake City. Get him in there. Get him blocking shots. Instead, LeBron went with Sabonis. At that point, if you're a Jazz fan or you're a Jazz player, you got to be thinking, what? There are 3 guys on the board. 2 of them are from Utah. They've got the best record in the NBA. He wants size. And then he goes with Sabonis? What do you think they were thinking? I know exactly what Charles was thinking. Generally, as is the case, Chuck is right. I'm with Chuck. Man, that does feel like some Utah Jazz slander. The team with the best record in the NBA sends 2 guys to the All-Star game, and they're picked dead last. They were already bent over the fact that Mike Conley did not make the team, and now this, they were bent about Conley, they were bent about the officiating, and now the last 2 guys on the board are their guys. That is Utah Jazz slander. But then LeBron came in, and he tried to explain it. And LeBron's point was, wait, hold up now. This is not about this year's Jazz team. It's actually about all of the Jazz teams. At least I think that's what LeBron was saying. And that is a pretty good point. I need size. I'll take a guy who's 6'2" instead of a guy who's 8'6". Anyway, people of Utah, like I said before, I'm here for you, and I've got your back. But if I'm hearing that correctly, what LeBron is saying is it's not about the team. It's not about this year's team. It's about every Jazz team. Like, nothing against your guys. Guys, it's something against your guys forever. It's not about these guys. It's about every guy who's ever played there. I mean, like, there was no way LeBron or anybody was going to pick Utah in video games growing up, right? Didn't matter how good Stockton was. Didn't matter how good the mailman was. You were not rolling with them in NBA Jam. It's almost like that's what he's saying. Therefore, he can't pick them now either. To hear LeBron talk it, it sounds like he would have taken Washington's Tom Gugliotta. And don't get me wrong, I love Googs. Love Googs. But back in the day, he would have taken him and Harvey Grant or Brad Lohaus or Blue Edwards instead of playing with Utah. And apparently those old habits die hard. Now, you know what that sounds like? That sounds exactly like Utah Jazz slander. And Utah, you're going to hate hearing this because, frankly, I'm here for it. I like it. I really do. Suddenly this game's got another level of juice. Suddenly we've got a little salt around the edges of that drink because you know Donovan Mitchell saw that, and you know Rudy Gobert saw that, and you know they have to be pissed about that. I know Jazz fans saw that, and I know they're reacting. They were definitely taking notes. And speaking of, quote, take note, man, don't let that be the hashtag. The hashtag for the rest of the year should be Jazz slander. Hashtag Jazz slander. Lean into it. Pull some fuel out of it. Let it power you the rest of the way. Hey, remember when I said the refs are not out to get you? They are. Everybody is. Everybody's out to get you, Salt Lake. Everybody's out to get you, Jazz fan. It's good. Lean into it. It's positive. This crew is already playing some elite basketball, and now they're going to feel like they're not getting respect. Not from the officials, not from their peers, not from LeBron, not from anybody. It really is you against the world. Jazz fan? So on the one hand, because I have your back, because I'm always here for you, I hate that it's happening to you, but I actually like it. Not only is this going to give us the juice that we need for the All-Star weekend, but it's going to carry the second half.